I am going to start by saying, Dawn, if you would just introduce yourself, tell me where you work. You all obviously understand your geographics better than I do, but I will look it up on my map. Anyway, go ahead, Dawn.
Okay, I'm Dawn Barnes. I work at Community Living Trent Highlands, and we are out of Lindsay, and we service the city of Kawartha Lakes, which is a pretty big rural area. And I'm an early learning coordinator, so resource consultant. I support quality and inclusion in our local childcare centers.
Thanks. Hello. So Carrie, introduce yourself to the rest of us.
Hi, so I'm Carrie Wakeford, Executive Director with Learning Ontario Central South. And for those who know Ontario, it's Haliburton, City of Kawartha Lakes, Peterborough, Northumberland, and Hastings. And we support literacy programs.
Thank you. Susie.
Hi, my name is Susie Johnson-Smith. I'm a consultant with AHA Process and live in just outside of the city of Peterborough, and which is sort of central eastern Ontario.
Thank you. Trevor.
Hi, everyone. Trevor Langell. I'm a supervisor with Durham Region Social Services. I provide leadership and support to a workshop team that we work and support our community, as well as our training unit that supports all the training within our social services, specifically our income, employment, and homelessness supports division.
Got it. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Jillian.
I'm with the YWCA of Muskoka, which is based out of Bracebridge. We call ourselves a Y Without Walls because we offer programming throughout the Muskoka region, which encompasses everything. Our southern boundary is Severn, and I believe our northern boundary is like all the way up at Almagwin over to, we border Parry Sound. And on the eastern side, it would be Haliburton. So it's a big area. And I facilitate the Circles program, and I also do Bridges Out of Poverty presentations for anyone in the region that wants one.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley McGee. I'm manager of learning or literacy and basic skills for the YMCA of Simcoe Muskoka, but our learning services sites are in Parry Sound, Huntsville, and South Muskoka. So we go all the way up to French River, down to MacTier, and then over east into the Muskoka area.
Thank you. It's always fun for me to be talking with individuals that are outside of the lower 48, if you want to call it that, but just to show that the Bridges Out of Poverty work is happening in many different places across the world. Canada is one of those. So we want to highlight that and talk about what may be happening in your different areas, how you got involved in this model, this work, and just beginning to help others that are in your area think about, hey, wait a minute, maybe this is something we need to explore, because we understand that the model itself has changed communities. We know that getting ahead changes lives, and we like to spread the word. So that's why I had asked Susie if she would invite everyone today so we could actually have some conversations on there. But let me go back. I don't really know who's been doing this the longest. I don't know, Susie, if you are the winner of that, or I think you're like 13, 14 years in. Am I right?
13 years now for me. Yeah.
On there. But you did it a long time within an agency, the work.
Yep.
That's how you got introduced to Bridges Out of Poverty.
Yep, absolutely. I attended a workshop and was like, wow, where has this been all of my career?
On there. Got it. So talk a little bit about just the work within the agency, because we always say that, there's Bridges Out of Poverty individual lens workshops, but you also were working on the institutional lens as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And so within my organization, I worked for 32 years for social services and led the Bridges Out of Poverty initiatives, implementation, work plan, as well as getting ahead, staying ahead, all kinds of fun stuff, and the Bridges training for our community partners. And I'd say that over the course of that sort of eight-year work plan, that I'd probably trained, well, it was more than 7,000 community partners in Bridges Out of Poverty. We'd run many Getting Ahead programs, and we'd built a work plan to implement the Bridges Out of Poverty framework, the institutional lens, into our programs, policies, and procedures. So things like reviewing all of our written material, marketing, signage, posters. We created a client advisory group for feedback on our program and service delivery. We worked with community partners to develop Staying Ahead, which is REP supports around our Getting Ahead grads. And we developed a community of practice meeting to share best practices from trained Bridges organizations.
Thank you. Yeah. So Dawn, when you think about your journey a bit with Bridges Out of Poverty model, talk about how you kind of jumped into this work.
So about 10 years ago, I first did the training. I was a supervisor at a childcare center, and I just did like a 1-hour overview. I remember they showed us Tammy's story, that video, and that really stuck with me all these years. It completely changed the way I interacted with families that we supported. So then about, I think it was just before COVID, the show Made came out on Netflix.
Yes.
And that made me think of about Bridges again, right? And how we do a lot of training, diversity and inclusion training here, but I've never had any other training other than Bridges that focuses on poverty. So I went to my manager and said I'd like to do Bridges training. So I signed up, and I think 3 years ago now, was when I did the training. So I've been doing workshops off and on for about 3 years now.
Got it. Boy, that went fast. 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I just looked up the date today, and it was, I think 3 years, like this month or soon.
Yeah, on there. Good. Trevor, come on and talk about a little bit your journey with just learning about Bridges.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking, I look back, I think Bridges Out of Poverty came to our organization 2009-ish, I want to say. And we really adopted a lot of the principles within our policy development over the years. We've been running the Getting Ahead program since 2009 as well. Typically, we're running, within the community, within our OW client group, five to six sessions every year. We support the ACEs piece as well. Yeah. So we'll run a couple of ACEs groups during that time period as well. It's been a great kind of pillar to a lot of our programming, and we've seen it really impact our clients as well as our community partners. We just recently, the last couple of years, started bringing Getting Ahead to our community partners who support many of the individuals in the community. So we'll bring it to them and support them with their client groups as well. We run the Staying Ahead program as well. That's been really valuable to kind of support those graduates of the Getting Ahead program, moving forward and keeping them connected and developing those relationships with their former grads. We do a lot of Bridges training. All our staff that come through our division receive Bridges Out of Poverty training as part of their entry-level training. We support other divisions as well, our family service counselors. Recently, we offered the Bridges Out of Poverty training for them as well. So we continually try to reach out to the community more and more to kind of bring these concepts and ideas forward. So it's been great.
Good. It's always amazing to me. I can't keep up with everything that's going on, and after a few years, how it kind of spreads a bit in different organizations and agencies. So thank you guys. It's good to hear these updates on there. Jillian, talk about your journey.
Well, I'm a fairly new Bridges presenter. I just received my training with Susie this past spring. I've been facilitating and coaching the Circles Muskoka program for the last several years. And so my exposure to Bridges was initially assisting with that with our previous facilitator. As far as I know, Bridges has been operating through our agency for probably 8 years or so now. And we've had great success presenting it to community partners.
Yeah.
Tons of feedback about, that aha moment, literally, like, oh my God, this has completely changed my perspective.
Yay.
All of our staff are required to attend. And so we provide that training for all of our staff here at the YWCA. And also all of our circles volunteers are required to go through the Bridges training in addition to specific ally training for the circles program. I will say from my own experience this past summer, I did presented 2 workshops for teachers for professional development in the Haliburton-Kawartha district and Muskoka, well, for the Trillium Lakelands, which is a massive area, encompasses Kawarthas. And I asked them, how many think the solutions for how many think about poverty in your community and solutions for it. And everybody was really hesitant to stick their hand up about solutions. But when I said, how many think that you're seeing, that you're confronted with it with your students every day in the classroom, and every single hand went up.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, they had a really clear understanding of what a bridge is, how being a bridge fits into their mandate as teachers. And they were all like so positive and, oh, thank you so much, because the teachers themselves are really caring people, and they want to mitigate wherever they can when they're seeing these circumstances and they see these kids struggling, and they were so grateful.
It's wonderful to hear it, because we always talk about the fact that the workshops really are for a mindset change and to begin to help people to think differently. So I love the examples that you're sharing. It's been great to hear. Ashley, talk about your journey.
So I echo Jillian. I am still fairly new into being a certified facilitator. I've been with the Y for in my Department of Employment and Learning for 10 years. And that was part of like mandatory training when we first came in, as to get Bridges Out of Poverty training. But I'll be honest, I didn't get that aha moment with the training until I started supporting the Getting Ahead program unofficially. I was a support system to the certified facilitator, AKA the official lunch lady, and then sat in on the program just to listen to discussions and really see it unfold. I am now backfilling that vacancy with both Getting Ahead and Bridges Out of Poverty, with a focus of just mainly continuing the Getting Ahead efforts in Parry Sound specifically, because that's been a void within the community for at random times, sporadically. It was great in the community, and then it would go away when staff turnover happened. So getting back out into the community, but within our organization, I am now the in-house trainer, facilitator for that, and doing my very first community bridges on October 2nd. And I launched my very first on my own Getting Ahead workshop starting on Monday. So still very fresh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we'll be thinking about you. So in your class that's starting, how many investigators?
Right now we have 6. So not as large of a group as I was hoping for. I was hoping to reach about 10, but still 6 great candidates who are there in the right headspace at the right time. And the food and the gift card is just a bonus at the end of the day for them. So I think we really have a good group of the right fitting people.
Good. Well, keep us updated. We want to hear too.
Thank you.
As you hear this, and as I'm hearing this, I think my question to all of you would be, thinking back, maybe to a staff member or to an investigator, do you have a story or two that you'd like to share about someone that just has stuck with you?
It's often, I never stop learning with this information. And I think this individual just taught me so much. It was one of our Getting Ahead investigators a few years back. And he, had been really kind of written off by community partners. He was difficult. He had been, argumentative. and sometimes sleepy, sometimes not showing up, sometimes all kinds of different things. But his behavior had been kind of labeled as problematic. And through Getting Ahead, we found out that he actually, through lots of work and conversations, found out that he had undiagnosed diabetes type 1. And so all of the behaviors were easily explained. And it just is a constant reminder to me that there's something underneath people's behaviors. And when we look at those 11 resources, there's often much more to what's actually happening. And once this man got, proper treatment, and it didn't take long to figure that out and get him on some insulin and everything, his number one motivator was to see his children again, because he had not seen his children because of his temper and anger issues and underlying health issues. And we were sending him for job interviews and training programs and everything else, and missed the mark, as a community. And so once he was able to address the physical issues, health issues, get treatment, see his kids again, everything started to come together. And I think that's just the heart of this work.
I would agree. Anyone else all of a sudden remember someone that kind of stuck with you, or someone that's heard the workshop that came back and said, wait a minute, this has changed my life?
I can share a quick little story.
Please.
We had an individual who, I can't really share their backstory. I didn't facilitate the workshop, but part of my team did. They went through ACEs, and going through that process was a big motivator for them. They returned to school in the spring. So they went through ACEs in the spring, applied for school, then went into the social service worker diploma program in the fall. And we were able to take them in as a placement student as well within our organization. They shared their story to a large senior leadership meeting, which was so nice to have that opportunity. And it was just so impactful for this individual, and nice for us as an organization to kind of support somebody through that full journey, with the option to provide that co-op placement, which was really impactful for them. So that's just one of many stories.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. I hear that. Yeah, often. Anyone else?
I can add to what Trevor just offered in terms of people, participants, investigators, and Getting Ahead. I can think of two off the top of my head that have come through Getting Ahead and use that as a springboard into circles. And the Bridges material and the training that we provide for the volunteers that are working with the people that are coming into circles really creates like whole new dynamics for relationships.
Yeah.
And the knock-on effect in confidence and perspective and mindset is really quite astonishing from both the perspective of the participants and the volunteers. They've both confided in me separately how much their mindset has changed as a result of exposure. And at the heart of that was the training that they had about how people land in poverty, and particularly around the tyranny of the moment, and using the tools of curiosity and just listening, and having an understanding mindset. And we now currently have two former investigators that have come through the Circles program, graduated, and are acting as co-facilitators in Getting Ahead.
Oh, yeah.
And they also do lived a portion of our Bridges presentation is a person with lived experience that tells their story. And both of these women step up as presenters, and their stories are so impactful, and people are always moved by them. And for the presenters themselves, they get a rise every single time they do it. It reinforces their learning and their progress, and they just keep moving forward. So it's a win-win-win-win-win all the way around.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Yeah, good. Good to hear that. We get that a lot, especially when you have graduates that move into the facilitator or co-facilitator positions, and then they're also ready to be outward facing in the community and begin to help the community also to see what's happening. And we just find that that's the strongest message that you can have as you're out in the community talking about the programs in there. Carrie, as you think about your future and what's happening in your community, do you have plans? Any future plans?
Future plans, lots of future plans. I'm just so committed to this and growing this and working with Susie to reach more people. You were talking about the folks who the investigators who and the success stories and the amazing experiences, but I think I don't lead the programs directly, but I support people who do and facilitate the training and the ongoing support for people. And I think I would just like to say that so we can't forget those folks who lead these programs in terms of what they learn personally, what agencies experience. And so I think it has a ripple effect within an organization. And I think it has a huge effect on people who do lead these programs and just the experiences that they're sharing. And so every time I hear this and every time I see these successes, I just want to figure out a way to do more. You know, how do we expand these programs? So last year we did 2 in our region. This year is 5. So what are we going to do next? And I'm really passionate about this program because of the clear link between literacy and poverty. And I think we play a huge role in reaching people. So yeah, I'm just really excited about what the future holds and put no limits on what Susie can bring to our region. So
that's great. Well, thank you. I know that the work in Canada will continue and grow, which is always wonderful as we're seeing all of these agencies and organizations that are working to make lives of individuals better, but also agencies and the communities.